All right, so we can go ahead and get started. Do you have any question? I know, uh, since it's been a little while since our last session, do you have any questions on anything that's come up since then?
Um, I'll think of them as they come. I think I did. I've just forgotten at this point.
Okay.
Greetings.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Okay, so we're starting
Friendly
off with
objective A.
bastions on both teams.
Lock on my target.
And I'm just waiting for her to like push in, but then I realize they're kind of spawn camping us.
Mhm. Okay, so this is a target priority thing right here. So first off, make sure you're sticking near walls. Right, we don't want to be sitting on the ground. Second off, Bastion's probably not the one that we're gonna want to focus here because Bastion has 300 HP. Bastion has self healing. Bastion actually takes, I believe, 20% less damage when he's in Sentry form. Um,
No way.
Yep. And he also is being pocketed by two supports, right? By a Mercy pocket. So we are going to have very, very, very tough time killing Bastion. So unless we see that our team is all shooting at Bastion, right? We see that we're all focus firing him, or we see that he's low HP. Bastion should not be our priority target here. We shouldn't be thinking about Bastion. What we should maybe instead be thinking of is the Mercy or the Ana, who Mercy and Ana both have 200 HP, which is a lot less than 300 HP, and they don't have any damage reductions. And it's a lot harder for supports to. So, for example, right, like if you start going on the Mercy, Ana's the only one who can help the Mercy, right? Or if you go on the Ana, Mercy's the only one who can help the Ana. But if you go on Bastion, they can both pocket the Bastion. So she
Oh,
gets less healing. She has less health. She's just gonna be an easier target to kill by as you, right? Both of their supports are gonna be the easiest targets, whereas like every other person on their team is just gonna be super hard for you to kill. Not really gonna be able to kill Ball. Not really gonna be able to kill Diva. Not really gonna be able to kill Bastion unless you're like again unless you see the opportunity to. And Doomfist as well is what he has 250 HP. Yep,
yeah.
250 HP. So he's again he also has a lot of high mobility, so he's gonna be a hard target to kill in comparison to the supports. So my recommendation is to try to go for the supports here, not focusing too much on the Bastion.
That's interesting because
Mm,
Down to
whenever
accelerate.
people in my elo panic when they see a bastion,
mm,
they panic, and so literally I have to be the guy, especially if I'm Ana or
mm,
I have to be the guy that makes the play. So what I found works or helps to work um, is either pulling his focus while they push in, or literally just if he's not being pocketed, killing him myself. Like that is literally what I have to do, or else we lose the game. It's like so dumb.
yeah, which that's just a part of carrying is you found their win condition, which is Bastion. Bastion's if Bastion is left uncontested, he wins the game for them, and
Yeah,
therefore we have to counter Bastion. So
yeah,
we end up picking the Bastion. Make sure we're looking whenever we know that they have a Mercy. Us as Lucio can look to deny those reses because if we know that they get a pick and they have a Mercy still alive, we want to be hovering around the body so that we can just be ready for that.
and on that point too, what I notice is I do that, but there's almost like there's a lag between reading their comp at 45 seconds and then adjusting my playstyle. And sometimes that lag is like 3 or 4 lives. And
Mm.
sometimes it's just like, I wonder how to shorten, you know,
So, well, reading their comp and adjusting playstyle. So, well, that comes down to like you need to not just look at the characters and go, oh, okay, they're on Bastion, okay, they're on Mercy, right? We can't only look at the characters. We need to also be thinking about, okay, how are these characters changing how we're playing, right?
okay.
Who should we be shooting? What should we be looking to contest? We like you said, we can be looking to dance on the Bastion, distract him. We can be looking to take out the supports because the supports are going to be the easiest ones to go for, and we need to make sure that we're looking to deny the reses, and that should be something anytime that you see that they have a Mercy on the enemy team. you as Lucio, that's gonna be a very easy way that you can counter that, because that's literally them going from you guys having an advantage to them denying that advantage, when you can boop her away, and then also probably you have a good chance of also being able to kill her, because when Mercy reses, she
Yeah.
just she is not really moving, so you can hit those headshots super easily.
Yeah, and that's what you're seeing here is like the delay between, okay, they have a Mercy. Now I need to start booping reses and camping bodies. I do it, but there's this delay. I am getting better though. I was playing a game where I got a kill. I had never looked at the tab. I hadn't tabbed yet,
Mhm.
and my first instinct finally was right, which is check tab, camp the body right now, wait until. So,
Mhm.
but I find Lucio is really powerful for breaking overextended teams. Like I think they call them like spawn camps or something.
Yeah. Oh, spawn camp is when you would. Oh, so when the enemy team is spawn camping, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like they're overextended. So this
Yes.
is what I do all the time. Like,
Mhm. Yep, and this is a really good idea, because you're creating space for your team, making them run back to point. Just you gotta be very, very careful with the run away here. I would be instantly
yeah,
running. Don't try to contest it, because you're not gonna win that 2v1 most likely. Yep, exactly. Grab the health pack real quick. That way you're just back to full HP. Every time you go near a health pack, that's always a good idea.
yeah.
Okay.
Target located.
Here we need our team to regroup before we. First off, look at it. We want to always be paying attention to our health bar, because we have self heals. We've walked by 2 health packs. We don't want to be walking around with half HP. Second off, we probably want to wait for our team to be in position to push before we're attempting to go touch point again. The reason being is right now we only have one Bastion here, and look at where the rest of your team is. Right, 2 people are dead.
Yeah.
2 people are in spawn, 1 Bastion there. If we go in and touch point, then we're essentially going in by ourselves. And I believe we've talked about this many times, but watching kill feed and paying attention where your team's at, because we don't want to go in by ourselves.
I'm looking for an opportunity like this guy out of position. Although you'll see I fuck it up, but
Yep.
that was totally that I should have gotten that kill. Like I should have done that correctly.
So watch our health bars. Here we're not going for headshots. Look, she's been standing still for like 10 seconds
Yeah,
here. Alright,
dude,
stand still,
she's
stand still,
like
stand
she
still.
went on vacation.
Right, and then look where our crosshair's at, right? We're just not landing up with our head, and then that
Yeah,
results in us dying.
yeah.
Or at least I'm assuming we're dying. Yep. So not paying it right, just not being aware, not lining up the headshots.
Was my health low?
Yes, that's what I mentioned. Is our health bar was low for the past. I mentioned this since when we ran away here. We run away and then we never heal up after this. We constantly
Okay,
stand speed. Do you see our health bar right there, 103? Okay,
okay,
we passed by the health pack on our right. Okay, we're gonna pass by another health pack here in a second. Okay, another health pack,
yeah.
and then we also have self heals, right? And we're just half HP, so we're going in here half HP. We're also waltzing up to her, which I guess if we see that she's AFK is fine, but just again make sure that we're probably want to be close to walls here. We're leaving the
Yeah,
realm of walls. That way, that means that like if she turns and looks at us being near the wall means that we can start speeding around, and then it becomes a lot easier to dodge out her shots.
yeah. Every time I was playing Lucy a lot. Every time I die, I'm sitting on the ground. I'm not next to a wall, almost guaranteed. Every
Mhm.
single time, I'm not. Now, really good players, they'll kill me on the wall too. They'll hook me off the
Mhm.
wall, but
Yep. Okay. Now it looks like we have most of our team besides the Bastion.
and my whole idea here is like again pressure their focus. So take their focus on my
Mhm.
team, put it on me because they can't get to me. So
Mhm.
make them use cooldowns on me. Like I don't know.
No, which that's completely fine. You might find that even you doing that can mean that your team still doesn't actually push forward and take space, just because look at what's happening is their ball's doing the exact same thing in their back line, right? And
Yeah.
your team's back line. Their ball's just distracting, except for he's also, or the ball or Doomfist have been doing that, where they're just rolling around your back line, except for they're getting kills, right? So essentially you have to keep in mind that you're not just trying to distract, but you're also trying to secure those final blows and get those kills so that we can, win that. Remember, here we're swapping the heals every time we're not moving somewhere. So if we're just chilling here, swap the heals so we're healing ourselves up.
Okay.
Okay, look up. Don't just try to look at where the arrow is. That way you know like where it's coming from. So like if we're like in you, we'd be going, okay, bomb, boom. Okay, we're on this side of the cart. So you can track where it's going just by looking at it. Whereas if we're not looking at it, it's gonna be a lot harder to do that.
Burn them down.
I rarely get hit with a bomb. That was like, oh.
My servants never die.
Duplicating wrecking ball.
How do you stop balls from doing this shit? Because that
You
boop
can't.
me just starts rolling.
You cannot. As Lucio, you can't. I would focus on the Ana. Again, target priority. Look how many other people there are in cart besides Ball. And you as Lucio are probably not going to be able to kill Ball unless he's low, or unless your whole team's focusing him. He has 600 HP. When he was spinning around there, he had Nano, right?
Are you saying just don't even shoot at him?
Yeah, don't even shoot at him unless your team's focusing him or he's low. There's absolutely no reason for you to shoot at him, because you've been shooting at him this whole time, and just look how much it's just tickle damage essentially. You're not really even doing much. Whereas there are much better targets that you can be looking at. So he starts rolling around, right? 600 HP to start off. He gets nanoed. That gives him damage reduction and heals him up to full. He still has his shields here. Look, we're just doing no damage to him. We've been shooting at him this whole time. Still 500 HP. Right? So he used his shields, now he's up to 680. Right? So essentially we shouldn't be looking at the ball when there's a Ana here that on point that we can look at. Mercy, Bastion. Those three targets alone are much better focused targets than a Ball is or a Diva is.
I think what you're seeing too is like the delay between. There's just a delay between my brain realizing, okay, I need to switch targets. It's like I react slowly.
Which what I'm saying as well is that you should try to make it so that you shouldn't even be on Ball in the first place, right? Unless Ball is the only one there, which we know he's not the only one here this whole time, because we see him get nanoed, right? Where is he getting nanoed from if his team's not there?
Yeah, that's true. I don't even think about these things. I'm just like, oh shit, he's nanoed.
Oh, let's break it. Damn!
Personality duplication.
Okay, so we do swap targets, just a little bit late. Again, like when you have the option between Bastion, Ana, and Mercy, don't go for the Bastion if both supports are there standing on top of them, because again, it's just gonna be tickle
Can I
damage.
shoot at them?
Okay, so like if we rewind here when we go in, we come in here and we're mainly focusing the Bastion. We do like boop the Ana here. See, crosshairs on the Bastion. Bastion, do swap to Ana. Right, so we're going in there, and the main person we're shooting at is the Bastion. When he's just gonna get pocketed, he has damage reduction, more HP.
Helden sterben nicht.
Oh, Kree got us. So, yeah, that decision making needs to just get a little bit better. Awareness needs to get a little bit better. And then when we're upping our awareness and decision making, we're just gonna be, making better decisions to where we can now more effectively do the right thing at the right time. Here we're just.
Oh. Is the target priority? This is strange. Is the target priority the same for Ana?
As Ana, it really depends. Not necessarily with nades or sleeps. No, nades or sleeps, that's not going to be your main target priorities. And with Ana, you're not going to be able to go into their backline and frag the supports as easily as Lucio can. But yes, with this is going to be that's going to be something that applies to any character. Any character you're playing, you're always going to prioritize the easier person to kill. And also, when it comes to just tanks, tanks are essentially the role of the tank is to create space for the DPS and the supports. The DPS statistically do more, have more damage output than tanks do, and they get more kills than tanks do. Supports do the healing, right? So tanks aren't really the ones doing the heavy lifting when it comes to just raw statistics. They are there to provide space, which in itself is very important. But if we are able to bypass that space by just walking past them, if the DPS or support is standing right next to the tank, then there's no reason that we should ever shoot at the tank unless the tank is low or our whole team is shooting at them. Tank is who we default to, right? If we're just spamming in there, because the tank's in the front line most of the time, we're just going to be kind of defaultly shooting at the tanks. But anytime that you can bypass tanks, you're always going to go for the easier target to kill. So think about in a grab. If they're all grabbed, there's 6 players that grabbed, you don't focus the tanks, you focus the DPS and the supports, because those are the ones that you can kill a lot easier, and they also have more impact. Right? We'll go ahead. What do you say?
Same with Shatter too. As soon
Yep,
as
same with Shatter.
the whole team gets shattered, the first thing I focus on is the Mercy if she's there.
Yep. And it's Mercy, Ana, like any supports, any DPS, unless maybe the Bastion's a little bit different of a DPS because he's more tanky than other DPS. But a McCree, for example, right, he's not a tanky DPS. So if you see a McCree on the ground, that's another person that you can look to focus. Look to heal up your health. That's something you just want to make sure you're always paying attention to. Just keep in mind, and I feel like we've gone over this before, but just awareness is making sure that you're not just looking at the center of your screen, you're not tunnel visioning, but you're trying to look at everything. So you're turning around, doing a 360 once in a while. You're not, because I don't know if in these situations, whenever we push in, we don't seem to look behind us to see where the rest of our team's at. That's not really something that we do often. So make sure you're looking around you. Make sure that you're looking at your health bar, you're looking at your abilities, you're looking at your ult charge, kill feed, time bank, right? We want to be looking at all these different things, and then we're going to be getting a lot more information. And that's just awareness, is knowing what's going on around you. And when you have a higher awareness, you're going to have a higher, you're going to have better decision making, because awareness feeds into decision making. If you don't know, for example, you don't know, for example, let's take this to a school example. You go to school and you know what test is coming, and you study for the test ahead of time. You're going to do much better than in a pop quiz where you have no clue what's happening, right? You don't know what the subject is. So you're going to be able to inherently do better when you know what when you have more awareness and you know what's going on. So you need to know what's going on here so that you can make better decisions. Like, for example, just healing up our health, because this is the second time so far where we just haven't healed ourselves up. Okay, so now we're healing because we see that we're low.
30 seconds.
Keep in mind, you're going to want to get a little bit closer when you're getting in on people. The main, and I haven't seen this much, but remember, we went over this last time when I was showing you basically how to go around killing people as Lucio, is you're going to want to make sure that you're utilizing your boops and your melees, because that's just going to be the most efficient way to secure these kills, right? So we're coming in here, shoot, boop, and we're going to melee them, right? So boop up in the air, add in a melee, shoot, boop, shoot, right?
I've been
boop up there.
I've been doing that combo a lot. It's just in that situation, and it's actually really powerful. Like Widows, I don't even know why people play Widow against Lucio, because you just get screwed over. It's so easy to kill him. In that situation, it's me uncertain if I should take that engagement and drop into position in the middle of them.
Well, if you're keeping on the walls, keep in mind, right? If we're on the walls, we can drop in and get out in a moment's notice, right? As long as we're staying near walls, we can drop in here, get the kill, and then just be out of there in half a second, right? As soon as they start shooting at us. So as long as we're keeping up our mobility, we can get semi-aggressive, especially if we see that people aren't looking at us. So if we go back to that same point, right? Where are we?
Numbani.
Numbani.
It's the
Numbani here.
top one.
Traveling to Numbani. Ready for battle.
Personality.
Alright, let's touch this. So, like if we go to the same example, right? No one's looking at us, right? We can see this. Ana's looking over there, or Ana's looking to the left. Diva's looking to the left. Mercy's looking to the left. Right now we have 2 picks, right? We've discussed before how to look at kill feed and understand the flow of a fight. Or at least I'm assuming we have in the last 9 sessions, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yep. You look at the kill feed, you see we're up 2. We can automatically be more aggressive off that because a 5v4 means that we're at the advantage, so we can be more aggressive. Nobody's looking at us. Bat balls over here, right? So we can get super aggressive on this, right? If we go right, kind of glide right down there on the wall to the right side. Mercy's half HP. We get in there. We add the boop in. We add the melee in. Right. We just want to be getting aggressive in this situation because we just kind of sit here and spam, which is what we've been doing a lot. Is we kind of limit our DPSing to spamming from a distance, which Lucio's not a super long range character.
That's what I eventually did, though. I dove in on her.
10 seconds.
It's just position in terms of positioning. I'm hesitant to overextend. I don't know.
Which that comes down to being aware and knowing what is overextending, because this is not overextending on this in this instance, because in this instance like I discussed, right, this isn't overextending because nobody's looking at us, so we can get away with this. They are down 2 people, ball's not even in the general area, and even if we go in here, at the very worst, we get slept, but that require that if we're moving at full speed, and that means Ana has to do a 180 to do that. So this is very non-risky to go and do this because of the situation. Now, like that's just to keep in mind that not every time you go into the middle of their team is it going to be a overextension, right? That's just something to get through your head, is that going into the middle of their team, if they're all looking at you when your team's not there and they have 6 players, that's an overextension because they're going to look at you and you're going to die. But in the situation where they're down players, where there's only 3 people there, where somebody's low and we see the opportunity, and they're also not even looking at us, this is an example where this would not be an overextension to go in.
Okay.
Alright, so let's get back to where we were.
Objective A captured. Escort the payload.
Defense matrix activated.
Ability increased.
Yeah, time to heal up.
Beam activated.
Oh, now to accelerate.
Whoa. Show me how you did that.
It's been so much fun, like, especially Route 66. You're like 13 stories up. You fly down on top of them. They don't even know what's about to happen to them.
Mm-hmm.
You get the headshots, the boop, the follow-up, the melee. They're just instantly dead. It's hilarious.
Go. I'll be watching over you.
Flight routine.
Okay, so this is where we're going to ourselves. These guys are overextended. We should go and try to punish them because they're doing you just keep in mind, this is exactly the same thing that your team has been doing all game, but this is because all silvers do this. They're not grouping up. Okay, they're pushing forward when they're not down people, and we need to look to punish this when we see the enemy team does that. Because if we can stop doing that ourselves and start punishing it more often when the enemy team does it, then that means that we're going to be able to kind of take advantage of the fact that we're in silver, right? So, in this situation, we want to get super aggressive and push that far instead of just chilling here AFK, right?
Okay.
And again, remember when we're not moving anywhere, we're on heals so that we're just healing people. Speed's only when we're moving somewhere or our team's moving somewhere. If us or our team isn't going anywhere, we want to be on heals to get ult charge to heal people up to full HP, right? It's just more efficient.
Yeah, it's really tricky keeping track of that damn thing because it's like okay, am I on heals? I hit amp and I mean amp heals. It's a lot of I realize why they call it like a high skill cap character because it's like
There's a lot to keep track of. Yep, and he has a lot of high mechanics. But here, pay attention to the fact that we haven't reloaded. We're just kind of we sit here, we spam. We don't reload here, which means that when we go in on the Ana,
yeah.
we only have 4 shots. Okay,
So this is a broad. Okay, yeah. She's just AFKing it up. I don't know if her sensitivity is low. What the fuck is going on there? But she's just hanging out. So this is a broad. What you're seeing is like a broad problem with awareness.
Yeah.
So I could start doing some practice exercises on awareness. Here she go.
Check this out.
Like losing track of people's awareness too.
Gonna make you feel better.
So to make sure you're just kind of trying to track them. If you don't know where somebody's at, do a quick 360. Right? Oh, whoops! My apparently spectating doesn't like you doing 360s. But if somebody's like on top of us, we can just do a quick 360, and we can check our surroundings. Right? Where they go, and if we just see a glance of them while we're doing that 360, then we can all of a sudden like align to them. So just make sure you're kind of waving around and looking when you lose track of somebody.
Okay. Yeah, I lose track of people a lot. Especially because you're close up. You just like cross paths.
Which is in that case, right? You turn around, you look where they go instead of just kind of walking straight forward or just slightly changing, like looking around. Like, we want to just do a quick 360. Just look all the way around you.
Never dies. I still have use for you.
Boop, 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 boop it. You can boop him through his deflections, you know. Just remember again, boop melees are very, very effective sources of damage, and it's gonna be what you're looking to use because that's how you get a ton of your damage in when you're on Lucio. All right. Do you have another code that we can go over?
I do. I have it on. Let me see. My on play. Yeah, I'll do this one. Ana's interesting. The more I'm learning, as I play other supports, I'm learning different concepts which apply to other supports.
Mhm.
So with Ana, like I think, well, actually, let me see. There's actually one where I'm not sure. Like, we can watch this one. Oh, there it is. Here's one. Actually, here's one. I've got one.
Oh, you got a different one?
Ready for
Yeah, this one's better. Hold on. This one I wasn't sure how to position.
Young tower.
Mhm.
Ready for battle.
But the number one takeaway from that last game is literally like spend time stepping out of tunnel vision and just check everything.
Yep. And that's gonna be like that just wants to be kind of a habit to do, and like to do every once in a while, as we're just checking everything. And you'll find that like once you get good at it, it's not like it's a routine where I do it while I play. I do it every single 10 seconds. It's whenever I see out of the corner of my eye, I see something happen in kill feed starts ticking down, right? I see because right now there's nothing on the kill feed. When I see something happen there, I glance at it real quick. I see red kill blue or blue kill red, and then I glance back, right? It's just a glance. I just saw it out of the corner of my eye, but I'm going there because I saw that. I'm taking a quick glance at it, and then I'm coming back to the focusing on the fight. If I see that I took damage through hearing I get shot, seeing somebody shoot me. You can see red marks when you get shot. Now I'm glancing on my health bar real quick, right? When I see that I took damage. So I'm glancing at my health bar, I'm looking for a way to get healed. If I'm trying to use my ability, I'm real quickly gonna glance down at the at my cooldown to see, do I have the ability, right? When was the last time I used it? Or if I know that I just used it recently, how long is it gonna be till I get it again? Because if I go, okay, I want to use it soon, and it's on 6 seconds, I know, okay, I can use it in 6 seconds. And then I estimate around 6 seconds, and then I just press the button, right? So when it's really just about looking at the things at the right times, based on what's happening around you. And then
Okay.
something that you can look at in between fights, you can look at the time bank in between fights. You can look at making sure your gun's reloaded in between fights. Make sure your health's full HP in between fights. What's your ultimate charge? Are we gonna have our ult this fight? Is it at 80%? Like if it's above 80, you might have it in the middle. You might have it before the fight starts, right? Or not before the fight starts. In the middle of the fight or something like that. So just this is all stuff that adds up to awareness, and then past that, all adds up to game sense and decision making.
I do a few of those things pretty well, like following the kill feed. I do really well now, and then also alt tracking. I do pretty good now because especially as a support like Lucio or Zen, you have to track you have to, like, you're waiting for the nano blade, you're waiting for the shatter to hit your alt. So getting better.
Okay, so here, have we gone over Ana before in our coachings?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've talked about picking out nano priority targets at the beginning of games.
Yeah, it's been really powerful.
So in this situation, who would be your top 3 nano targets?
First one's going to be Genji, close to
Mhm.
blade or with blade.
Yep.
Second one, I think the second one is going to be Rhine. But it depends on, like, how aggressive he is. And then the third one I would do is actually alting Hog.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much perfectly. Hog and Ryan, I would use interchangeably depending on their distance. Like how close are they to the fight? Because Reinhardt needs to be literally on top of them. Hog can have a little bit of space in between them, right? So, and if Hog doesn't have his ultimate, then obviously Ryan's better. So, you just want to be looking at all these different things when you're thinking about your nano. So we're coming into this fight. We should be angling our camera more to the left so we can see like people on the left side of our screen, right? Because nobody's gonna be in the rocks over here. So we want to be angling our cameras always to where we're intaking the most information as possible. So we want to be looking a little bit more to the left here to where we can see both the doorway here and the doorway on our left, right? So as we're walking in, we can see it. We can look to see as much as possible, right? So a
Yeah.
camera angle here so that we can see left doorway and right doorway instead of having our camera angle like this, right? Instead of having a camera angle like this, we're keeping it so that we can see as much as possible. And then as soon as we intake that information, we go, Moira's here. Okay, now we can look at Moira, right? So whenever you're just taking in information and you're not actively shooting at something or doing something, you want to make it so that your camera can see everything.
Get into position.
Okay, throw nades at feet. Don't throw nades at people. Have we discussed that before, or should I go and demonstrate this?
We've talked about it. You know what I noticed was I noticed that if they're a little far away and it's a flat ground, I tend to miss the nade. So what I've been trying to practice is hitting a wall next to them.
Yeah, that's exactly what you can
So,
try to do.
but if they're close, I just throw the nade. If they're like diving me, like a Genji nanoblading diving me,
Yep.
the first thing I'm going to do when he comes to me is I'm going to hit the floor with a nade, make sure he gets purple.
Yep. Because if we look to purple like someone, it doesn't hit the other person because they body block it, and it's also going to be super hard because there's a humongous giant radius that makes it super easy to land if you hit the floor. So for example, here you can see if I throw it even on the floor to the underneath this person, now it's hitting both of them, right? It's a humongous giant radius around them, which is much easier to hit than
Oh,
one person. right? So you're gonna be hitting more people, and it's gonna be a lot easier to hit, and also it means that it can't get eaten as easily, and it can't get deflected as easily. Now,
That's what I was wondering because like I keep. Okay, that's what's yeah. Okay.
now, let's say for example we're trying to, or I guess we can use this for let's say we're trying to hit somebody who we're far away from, or it's hard to hit them, right? Then we can start to look to land nades on walls or ceilings, right? So if the bot's there and we're trying to not just hit the bot directly, we can nade the ceiling, and then that way he becomes much easier to hit, because again the radius is bigger than just hitting him directly. It's gonna be much harder to hit him directly than it is to hit the ceiling.
Okay.
Have we talked about the trick or tech for landing long range nades for scoping in?
Yeah, I use it all the time.
All right, just wondering if we need to stick around for that, but we can hop back in then. Lijiang Tower. There we were. All right, my
Now
memory
arriving
breaks
at
sometimes.
Lucio Tower. Ready for battle.
Oh, didn't mean to skip 20 seconds, but yep, Genji comes straight at us. Too far up, aim lower.
The objective is
Yeah, and you'll just see me. I know how to do it. You'll just see me miss, maybe like half on some games, but see right there.
Yep.
You'll see me miss like half my grenades or like a third of them on a good game.
Yep, which is why you have to put effort and thought into each individual nade, because if we're not thinking and we're autopiloting and we're not purposely trying to target each individual shot or nade, then that's going to mean that they just end up going into a deflect, which is actually not even just missing, that's bad. Like we're doing, oh sorry, that's worse for us, right? That's a disadvantage for us. It's not just missing our advantage.
I remember this feeling.
Okay, at this point, I wouldn't be walking in anymore, because if we're watching kill feed, we see that they got all those picks. We pretty much lost this fight. We chuck in a nade and we back out probably. Yep.
Trying to get that juicy alt charge.
And now that we see the fight still going on, now I'm starting to walk back in because they somehow survived on point, and we have our hog coming back. So now we have 4 people. It's a 4v6. So I'm starting to think about just contesting, and if our team's staying up here, it's probably a good idea. Right now we have 5 people here, so it's a 5v6.
You know, another thing which happens too.
Yep.
The entire team right out of spawn will go left, which is so dumb. They always get booped. So here's what happens a lot on this map. They all go left. I'm like, I'm not going left, dude. You guys are gonna get booped. I go right, and all of a sudden I'm split from my team like 30 seconds. They get booped inevitably. A couple of them die. They don't, but ultimately I don't want to walk across this bridge. In general, it's just dumb.
And if you, for example, said it in text chat before the match started, like right as you guys are picking characters, and you say it in text chat, and you say it in voice chat, and you say, "Hey guys, go right side, don't go left side," people would not listen.
Yeah, I mean that happens too. Yeah. And then so with Ana too, I feel like your positioning is critical. You have to stay line of sight with your team. Do you have to move with them if they go on the bridge to the left? I mean, you have to fucking like walk the bridge with them, and then hope you don't get booped.
Well, there is I guess it's a good idea to stay away from the bridge, but if your whole team's going left side, we can probably go with them. Just again, remember that like if the enemy team's also going the bridge, which they probably will a lot of times in silver, if it's as straightforward as they won't listen no matter what, and every single silver player is going to go bridge, then your team and their team is an equal advantage of like of how many people are going to get booped off, right? So your team is going to have just as many boop offs as their team, and us going with them the bridge means that we can kind of walk with them and more effectively have line of sight on them. And as long as we're careful, we shouldn't get booped off, right? So just if they have a FAR, for example, wait until she's used concussion blast. Walk more. Like once you see that they've used concussion blast, walk more along the right side because that's gonna make it easier to not get pulled off by Orisa. And not if a Lucio decides to waltz in here, it's gonna be easier from the boop you off this side than it is from the boop you off this side. So just look to go in, and you can, as you know that this is really dangerous, you can just be careful with going in. But let's go back and watch first fight,
Ready for
and
battle.
let's just fast forward here real quick.
Instinctually, like for my own survival, I never go left. I'm just like, no, I'm not going left.
But I mean, if it's even and it's going left, it gives you better line of sight on your team, then that might be a better idea if your team is going left side. So for example here, right, your whole team made it across fine, right?
Yeah.
So if we went bridge, what would have been the problem there?
Well, the problem would have been if Farah knew what she was doing, was camping the bridge by the time we got to it, and then hit a concussion mine. We're out.
Which the FAR doesn't know what she's doing, and if you're at a higher level, your team, but like both teams would know better what they're doing. At a higher level, maybe people listen to you and they don't go left side. But here, we just can't flat out can't go right side because we don't have line of sight on our team. We can't really do anything to heal our team.
I just like assume that they're gonna play best practice until like the clock sets in and I have time to see how they play.
I would instead of assuming, pay attention to where they're walking. Right, as we're walking out of spawn here, don't just tunnel vision on where we're going, and don't walk in front of them. As a support, just walk slightly behind them. Right, so just turn your camera to the left, and go, where's everyone going, right?
Yeah.
And then we're not like, if we're just walking here, we can just walk along with them, and we see, okay, Ryan's going right side. Okay, 4 people are going left side. Okay, I'm going with them left side. Okay, waiting out boops. No boops. Okay, I'm good. Let's go. Right now we're positioning here. Okay, we see we're using this as cover. We can heal our whole team from here. We can peek and land nades. Right, so this is just going to give us better line of sight to land nades. We're not going to get caught out by Genji. Better line of sight to see your team. So just in general, just better place to be, right? So you don't have to assume anything. Just pay attention to where they're going, and that ties into awareness too.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah. Because like when I was playing ball too on this map, every single time I would get boops right out of spawn, and then every single time they would keep crossing the fucking bridge, and I would just get boop after boop. Like they don't get it. So when I play, I'm very like, well, this is a really bad decision. So,
which, as long as you're timing it correctly, and you're being smart about it, you shouldn't get booped even if you do walk left side. Now, of course, you don't want to take the chance. So if you have full team communication, and maybe once you get to like gold or platinum, and people are actually starting to talk and communicate with each other, then going right side, of course, is going to be the call. But until then, follow your team, because you're going to get more value out of following your team and being careful on bridge than by running off on your own. All right, let's get back to where we were, because we're a little bit, we rewinded a little bit there. So I think our team, we're really far ahead of this. There's far barrages, yep, miss sleep, we start healing our team up. Right. We just want to get super aggressive here. We get 4 picks, just take aggressive positioning to where we can see our whole team.
And see, like right here, the Rhine goes charging over there. I can't stay back at the bridge and play that corner. I have to walk in
play this?
play.
Yeah, well, you don't. Well, you don't have. This isn't. There's never going to be any positioning that you have to take that you stay here. I was saying you stay here because your team's here, right? Your team was all in this courtyard. Now, if your team's positioning on the right side, then yes, walk so that you have line of sight on them. The first step to Ana positioning is you have to have line of sight on your team, because otherwise you can't heal.
Like the tanks. This happens a lot. They've pushed off. So if I was standing by that building right now, what tends to happen is They push off deep into here. I lose line of sight. I can't rotate anymore because now the other team has crossed the bridge, so I can't cross that like
So what
big
you're
span.
saying? So what you're saying is that typically you'd be here and your team's on point.
Exactly. Yeah, but
If our
well,
team's
I'm
on point,
saying,
we go ahead.
I mean, like what I've learned is I have to, in order to keep the tanks line of sight, because Rhines love to charge into oblivion, and the Roadhogs love to wander off. I have to like really move with them.
And you don't always have to stick right on top of them, but you just need to predict where they're going to be and move to where they're at, or where you have line of sight of them. You don't need to be on top of them, though. So, for example, here, the only reason why we should be here is if we have courtyard. If we're holding in this courtyard, right, this whole big area here,
Okay.
right? Otherwise, we can't see them if they're on the other side of point, right? And
Yeah.
we're super far away from them. So if they're all holding on point, we can have this positioning to where we are using this wall as cover, right? This is decently safe because we're just using we can see our whole team. We can land nades if we need to. We're just a little bit closer to what's happening. So this is fine positioning where we're standing at, right? And if our team's charging in, we just kind of follow so that we have LOS on them. That's all we really have to do. So Genji comes in, nade the grounds, nice, good job. If possible, try to go for the sleep first. Though was he deflecting? I couldn't see. I think he was behind May. If he's not deflecting, then we should go for this attempt to go for the sleep first, and then nade comes second. Because sleep can completely shut it down. Whereas nade is just a really good way to shut it down because it stops him from getting healing, and he does a third of his HP.
Take your medicine.
Okay, watch. Kind of watch the spam, right? If you see that Pharah is spamming in the window here. Spam shot, spam. Oh, never mind. Okay, never mind. I thought she was doing it way before that. That's my bad. So that's just more of an unlucky death. You just got spammed out.
You're not getting rid of me that.
Okay, so we're coming back. We're looking to maybe get a nano off. This is still should be a still winnable fight because we did get the Genji, so it is currently actually no, they got 3 of us, so it's a 3v6 currently. So not looking the best, but right now we just want to stall out point.
I have your back.
This is not the end.
Here we probably just want to stick on bridge so we can back out if we need to. Yep. We see that we lost, we back out. Good decision making there.
I will keep you healed.
But you know what happened too? I was playing Volskaya as Ana, and I was just for like a couple seconds out of line of sight of my tank. I hadn't rotated all the way. It's at that choke on Volskaya, and teams like to just sit on both sides. I hadn't rotated all the way to the wall parallel to the choke, and my Zarya just like base tanked all this damage and was gone almost instantly. When I was watching the replays, I was like, why is this happening so quickly? And sure enough, I was like looking just off. I was just around the corner. So I feel like I have to like babysit them, and I have to get really aggressive about my positioning to make sure when they start wandering off on their own, I have to have line of sight on them.
Yep, you always have to have line of sight on your tanks. Even like it's not even necessarily babysitting; is just good positioning in the fact that you need to be able to see your team because that your job is to heal your team.
Get back in the fight.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we probably want to be looking to use Nano a lot earlier than now. Just as soon as we see Genji, which we do see him on our right side, we know that he has his blade online. We want to be looking for that Nano blade so that we can look to use it earlier because you're gonna have a lot less value for looking to use ultimates later on in the fight.
I think it's awareness. I don't even think I saw him.
Saw the Genji? Well, then we need to be looking.
I definitely didn't see my Genji yet. Because if I saw him and I was thinking along those lines, that's exactly what I do.
Which in that case, then we need to be looking for the Genji. We need to not just wait until Genji comes to us. We need to be looking around to see where is our Genji at, right?
If I'm looking for him though, the Mercy dies. Like,
I mean, not if we do this before Mercy gets in this position, right? When we're right about here, this is where we should, like, right as we're engaging in this fight is where we should be looking at for the Genji. So we should,
okay.
like, before the fight even starts, we should be back here, right? Or like at when the fight's starting, or sorry, like let's get back to where I'm talking about. So like right here when we're walking into this fight, we should be looking around us and going, okay, where's all our team at? Right, where's Genji at? Okay, Genji's behind us, right? He's coming in right side, so we need to keep, since we know we're going for a Nano Blade here, or at least that's what we should be thinking about since we have Nano Blade online. We should be making sure we keep, like, we're always keeping Genji in our line of sight here. What the heck? Just sorry, this is just a funny thing that happened to Diva that I saw. Watch this real quick on the Diva.
不许走！
Watch Diva.
不许走！
Get back in the fight.
Yep, and just keep in mind that ultimates used late in a fight, it's always gonna get less value than an ultimate used early in a fight, because when they use whichever team uses ultimates first, that means that they're now getting a ton of damage and a ton of healing and a ton of they're getting kills, right? And then that puts them inherently at that pick advantage to where now they are winning just basically because they have more people. So that means
I definitely do that. Just in here, you're just seeing. I'm just not aware. I don't even like. Normally, I'm really good about looking for the nano combo.
Oh, you have.
It's
So
a
you're
lot easier to do.
So you're saying
that.
this is an abnormal game?
No, this
Or-
is a typical game, but what you're seeing is like, you're seeing, the lack. I think it's really the lack of awareness, like the big picture. See now that we have like a moment to chill, I'm like, yeah, boom, got you.
抱歉了。
I think on that fight, it was kind of mid-fight. I didn't do my new, like, yeah.
What was
I
the mid fight?
lose. I think my awareness is inconsistently available to me. It's
Yeah.
just kind of what happens.
Sleep.
I'm ready to start.
Need for health. Yep, there you go. Request healing to get the rest of your health healed up. Alright, if our whole team's holding courtyard, then we can kind of reposition to that left side of the map, to where we're next to that, over by the window there.
Okay.
Feeling sleepy?
Oh, I thought we were gonna walk off the map for a second there. Okay, right now we're not in the best positioning because we don't really have line of sight on our team. Also a little bit risky where we are getting really up close and personal. When we know that when we don't have our other support right next to us, we should be looking to nade heal. Otherwise, we should just be requesting healing. So this, if we don't know that if we don't know that we do need healing, then that's us not paying attention to our health, right? So that's an example here where we're dueling this Orisa.
Yeah.
Where we duel this Orisa, and we see that she shoots at us. So therefore, I in my head am thinking to myself, okay, I just got shot at. I'm glancing at my health bar now to see what my health's at, right?
Regrettable, but necessary.
Okay.
And then that way,
what might have been running. You know what I wonder too? What might have been running through my mind on that last one was,
I have your back.
don't invest ultimates in a lost fight.
mhm.
And if we've taken like more than one or two picks, I'm really hesitant to fire my ultimates.
Which, keep in mind that, yeah, one or two picks is definitely where you're losing the fight. It's not a lost fight yet, but look,
Okay.
here we lose a half a person,
Get back in
right?
the fight.
And that's it, right? We lose half a person. Diva's mech is you can consider that around like half a person. That's what I do, right? this isn't a lost fight by any means, right? And if we use Nano here, we're probably gonna win this fight.
Yeah, you're right.
And then I also think we get a pick here in a second. Yeah, we get a pick. So we're technically up a half a person currently. Right? We are at the advantage here, not the disadvantage.
I'm positioned poorly, right?
Yeah, we push a little too far forwards. We didn't need to, you don't need to get right up next to the Mercy to heal the Mercy. Skipping back to where we were.
Healing it.
Alright. We're back. Alright, actually we just got back. Or let's finish the map. We're out of time, so we'll finish up this last
Sure.
fight, and then we'll wrap it up. Good need.
Never die.
Oh, get the one shot on her. Get it.
I know. She got me. I know, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, she's one, just one tapper.
Okay, so I'm going to stop the recording here.